You heard it here first, guys.
With respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else.
But you see the breaking news on your screen right now. Associated Press confirming an internal email sent by Kimberly Cheadle to those in the Secret Service announces her resignation. This a day after that she was really a verbal punching bag on Capitol Hill, Dana.
Well, and she came to Capitol Hill with no answers to some very basic questions. And the calls were not just coming from Republicans for her to resign. There were many Democrats who felt the same. And you kind of have to wonder, she said the buck stops with her, that she would be the one who would answer the questions. She wanted to be as transparent as possible. She was not. And so I do think that this became something that was inevitable for her. It was a bipartisan call for her. Not everybody, but I mean, you had enough Democrats saying she should resign. In fact, we started the show with Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, who also thought she should be gone.
She could be compelled to another hearing. We just don't know when. She might resist that, but we'll see how that fight goes.
Now, that was definitely a brutal Congress hearing for the Secret Service director. But seriously, guys, what I got from it were these new details that are now coming out about the Trump assassination attempt.
Now, Wray also getting pushback from former White House physician and current Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson, who attended the former president after the shooting. And Jackson writes this: I completely concur with the initial assessment and treatment provided by the doctors and nurses at Butler Memorial Hospital on the day of the shooting. There's absolutely no evidence that it was anything other than a bullet. Director Wray is wrong and inappropriate to suggest anything else. Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson joins me now on the phone. Congressman, welcome. And you are a doctor as well, to 3 former United States presidents.
Right. Martha, I think it's completely inappropriate, as I said, for the FBI director, someone in his position, to make that kind of statement, certainly at this stage of the game. He's the person that's going to be overseeing the investigation into the assassination attempt. And quite honestly, I think that his statements were politically motivated. I think that the establishment in general in D.C., the D.C. establishment, and I will include the FBI director in that category, I think that they are completely threatened by what's going on right now. President Trump is an American icon, and he is so to a lot of people that didn't consider him that before this happened. They saw our president, former president, rise up after the assassination attempt, after being shot in the head, essentially, covered in blood, and shake his fist in defiance. And there are just thousands and thousands of people out there right now that admired what they saw from President Trump when this happened, and people that, they're going to be inclined to vote for him now because they see him as a strong leader. And I think that threatens a lot of people in D.C. And I think, possibly the director of the FBI is among those. And I think that this was a politically motivated statement, and I just think it's inappropriate, and I said to call it out.
Basically, a very clear picture is emerging of the exact timeline of what they're calling staggering failures that enabled an armed 20-year-old man with no military training to scale a building loaded with counter-sniper team cops in broad daylight and come within a hair's breadth of killing former President Donald Trump. Cash is out, digital currency is in. Don't let Biden and the Fed control your money. Executive Order 14067 is here, and your cash is becoming digital and trackable. They want to see every penny. How about we don't let them? Let's fortify your wealth with something tangible: gold and silver. I urge you to call my friends at Priority Gold to find out how they can help you diversify your savings with physical gold. I'd also like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Thousands of Americans just like you have placed their trust in Priority Gold. Text GOLD, G-O-L-D, to 800-405-GOLD for a free guide on how to shield your money with gold and silver. Learn 3 strategies to diversify and preserve your wealth. Plus, find out if you qualify for up to $5,000 in free silver. Imagine having control over your financial freedom. Text GOLD to 800-405-GOLD now and keep your future intact. Don't wait until it's too late. It turns out Thomas Matthew Crooks was spotted at least twice by cops, 26 minutes before he rained bullets on the Pennsylvania rally crowd, wounding Donald Trump and 2 others and killing an ex-fire chief. Just check this out. I found it online, a multi-feed video montage assembled by Milk Bar TV, which has now been viewed more than 3.5 million times on X, shows the attempted assassination play out in real time using clips from several vantage points. And just look at this and tell me what you think.
If he was doing his job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. You see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator
What's happening?
elected and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We have the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's a, wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit over that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that says,
After the Trump assassination attempt, all hell broke loose and the presidential election landscape was changed forever. Other information that was just revealed, law enforcement services told the media that the Secret Service was warned about Thomas Matthew Crooks and designated him as a threat 10 minutes before former President Donald Trump took the stage, but allowed him to go on anyway. The agency also warned that there was a character of suspicion on the grounds more than an hour before the deadly shooting at Donald Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, sources said. Senator John Brasso, he grilled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle about this, saying how Donald Trump would-be assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks was identified as a character of suspicion because he had a rangefinder as well as a backpack. And this was over an hour before the shooting actually occurred. Barrasso added, you would think over the course of that hour, you shouldn't lose sight of the individual. The senator said somebody ought to be following up on these sorts of things. No evidence of that happening at all. Understandably, Senator Barrasso joined the number of lawmakers who called for Secret Service Kimberly Cheadle to resign.
Today's witness, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, is here under subpoena to answer questions about how the agency failed President Trump and the victims who attended the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It is my firm belief, Director Cheadle, that you should resign. However, in complete defiance, Director Cheadle has maintained she will not tender her resignation before July 13th. Had the Trump detail requested additional resources?
What I can tell you is that for the event on July 13th, the details that were the assets that were requested for that day were given.
Several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bullshit. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Comparatore's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I mean, sure, Cheadle resigned and Crooks was neutralized at the scene after the assassination. But then again, people would argue that this kid wasn't the shooter. He was the fall guy for this administration's attempted assassination of a rival. You could say the same about Director Cheadle being the scapegoat for a huge, massive oversight by the current administration. Like Trump said, the doctor at the hospital said he never saw anything like this. He called it a miracle. Seriously, guys, former President Donald Trump still being with us here today is nothing short of a miracle, you guys. And now he's calling for the country to unite. Former President Donald Trump took the stage in the final hour of the Republican National Convention, delivered what many are calling a deeply heartfelt address just days after he miraculously survived an assassin's bullet, vowing to heal and unite the country. To quote from his speech, "Together we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed." Now, I promise you guys, Donald Trump is very aware of what's going on now, and instead of going down to the level of his enemies, the former president is choosing to rise above and try to convey what he called his message of confidence, strength, and hope. Now, this is a big one, you guys, so stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. Now, Donald Trump may be all about the unity right now, but that doesn't mean that we don't deserve answers. This is why Congress grilled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle on what really happened and went wrong at the Donald Trump assassination attempt. So here's Firebrand Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's part of the hearing.
At 5:10, Crooks is first observed by one of the snipers, AGR Sniper 1, at the building. 5:10, President Trump was shot in the face at 6:11 p.m. 5:28, AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and 2 bags. Those belong to Crooks. 5:32, AGR Sniper 1 spots Crooks looking at his phone and using a rangefinder. 5:55, Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos and states they have been relayed on. 6:05 p.m., AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in direction of Sheetz and that Crooks has a backpack. 2 minutes before the shooting, while President Trump has been allowed to take the stage, people see Crooks laying on his stomach in a sniper position on the roof, and they're yelling he has a gun, and they are trying to alert law enforcement and Secret Service. Why was Crooks not shot by the snipers? Why was he allowed to be there?
As soon as the individual was identified as a threat, they were...
No. What do you consider to be a threat? A man with a gun laying in a sniper position, a man that had a backpack, a man that had a bicycle, a man that had a rangefinder. At what point is he determined a threat?
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
What about a man laying on a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and pointing out? Is that a threat, Ms. Cheadle?
Again, where is the timeline? I mean, people on the internet seem to be doing a better job than Secret Service at piecing together this timeline. Did you guys see that unsettling video at the rally? It's pretty shocking to say the least, and may just be remembered as a low point for the Secret Service and the agency's more than 100-year history of protecting U.S. presidents. Now, remember that video montage I showed you earlier from Milk Bar TV? It's gone viral with over 3.5 million views on X, showing the attempted assassination from different angles as it happened. In those clips, it takes more than 120 excruciating seconds from when the crowd first spots Crooks on the roof to the terrifying moment before he shoots. Now, what's even more alarming is that the people who saw the would-be assassin repeatedly tried to alert law enforcement patrolling nearby. And it aligns with what witnesses said afterwards. Too plenty of rally attendees knew Crooks was up there well before shots were fired. James A. Galagino, with his extensive experience at the FBI's hostage rescue team and as a senior SWAT team leader, shared some thoughts on the chilling 2-minute montage. According to him, when you look at a rooftop position that was accessible from the ground 130 yards away from a former president, a current presidential candidate, and someone so polarizing, is that a place that should have been covered? He would argue yes. And that's why he agrees that this was was absolutely a miracle that Donald Trump survived this attempt on his life, which was thanks in no small part to Crooks's poor marksmanship. Because according to Gagliano, a shot of 130 yards is something in the business that they refer to as a cake shot. It's something anybody with reasonable marksmanship skills can close their eyes, hold their breath, jerk the trigger, and make. Now, while he's reserving his final thoughts until the investigation wraps up, Gagliano called the event a catastrophic, colossal systems failure that will be dissected for years to come. But what about you guys? What are your thoughts on the Trump assassination attempt? Now, I know it's been a while and a lot has happened since, but new details are just emerging that would really make you look twice. Do you think the people that need to answer for this colossal oversight are doing so already? Or maybe there should be other officials, maybe those higher up, that should be facing Congress right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. And while you're down there, I would also appreciate if you guys hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any of our future updates. And that way we can also get more like-minded people in our community of truth here on YouTube. Now, like I've been saying, guys, now is the time to pay attention, to be vigilant. So the more of us out there, the better. You guys all set? All right, let's get back to it. Now, my uncle says people are not asking the right question, which is, who is running the country? Well, I tried looking into it, and there are some very questionable decisions from way up, even way before this assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. For one, Secret Service officials repeatedly rejected Donald Trump's request for additional security in the 2 years before the Trump assassination attempt. According to this, the ex-president asked for more agents and magnetometers at large public events he attended, as well as extra snipers for outdoor venues. And guess what? Each request was shot down by senior officials who claimed the agency lacked the resources Trump was asking for. But lo and behold, outrage at the security lapse led the federal security agency to up Donald Trump's detail to the same level as President Biden. Anthony Guglielmi, a spokesman for the Secret Service, admitted that the agency denied Donald Trump's request for additional security, but claimed it only learned about the new information in the wake of the tragedy. Insiders shared that local law enforcement was recruited for the Butler, Pennsylvania rally because Secret Service headquarters denied the ex-president's request for extra resources. But like former Director Kimberly Cheadle said, the buck stops with her, because ultimately the Secret Service headquarters is the authority on what resources are permitted to be doled out. And as we can all see, the Secret Service has been strongly criticized for failing to stop crooks before he fired on the ex-president. Amidst all this, Donald Trump has bravely continued on the campaign trail despite the terrifying experience, this time with beefed up security at his disposal. He was given what they call a pretty unprecedented level of police officers for his indoor event in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where the presidential hopeful and his new running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, were welcomed by roughly 14,000 adoring supporters. Now, before this, former President Donald Trump talked about what he described as the very surreal experience that nearly ended his life. During an interview aboard his private plane en route to Milwaukee for the GOP National Convention, Donald Trump said that the doctor at the hospital never saw anything like this. He called it a miracle. According to Donald Trump, he's not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be dead. And yet, by some divine intervention, he's still with us now, and he's calling for unity in the country. At the Republican National Convention, former President Donald Trump really took everybody by surprise. Just days after surviving an assassination attempt, he got up there and he gave a speech that was, let's just say, unlike his usual fiery style. You could really feel that it was a heartfelt and focused on bringing people together. He even mentioned President Biden by name just once, without any of the harsh nicknames that we've heard before, like Crooked Joe. Donald Trump talked a lot about unity and how the recent attack had affected him personally. He laid out his plans for America's future, making it clear in his first public speech since the incident that he's all about starting a new chapter on the country. Opening his speech, he said, "I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. Together, we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed." He stressed that it's time to mend the deep divides within our society, that the discord and division in our society must be healed. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together, or we fall apart. Wrapping up, Donald Trump made his intentions clear. He is running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half. And what an America that would be, huh, guys? So make sure you guys do not miss out on any of our updates like this one, guys. Subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell. And speaking of, don't miss out on our other video about the Trump assassination attempt. It turns out the shooter was able to fly a second drone over the rally. Yeah. I know, crazy, right? More details in the video, so definitely check that one out after this one. But as always, thanks so much for watching, guys. Double thanks for hitting the like button, and I will see you on the next one.